Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be sharing my favorite fantasy romances that were inspired by Beauty and the Beast. Alright guys, so I've done a similar video to this in the past that I'll leave tagged in the cards and the description, where I shared some of my favorite contemporary romances that were inspired by Beauty and the Beast. But for this, it is going to be all of my favorite fantasy romances inspired by one of my favorite Disney tales. Now, I will also say one of the books at the end of this video I have not actually read yet, but I'm just going to tell you the plot synopsis and what it has on Goodreads. But all of the other books I've read and have really loved, except for maybe two of them, but I'll explain my reasoning. But anyway, all of these books were inspired by Beauty and the Beast, and Belle is one of my absolute favorite princesses. So I am so excited to talk about these books with you. And once again, I am still recovering from the flu and strep, so my voice is not 100%, but really sorry about that. Anyway, if you are unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell to be notified whenever I post new bookish content. You can also check out my Instagram, Goodreads, and Patreon, all linked down below. With all that out of the way, let's talk about these fantasy romance books. Alright guys, so starting off with the book that inspired this video, we have Curse of the Thorn King, and this is by Lisette Marshall. Now, Lisette Marshall is one of my favorite authors. She is the author of Court of Blood and Bindings, which is the Fae Isle series, and I love that fantasy romance series so much. So I was very excited when my Patreons picked this as their March book club pick, so I ended up giving this 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. So this is a fantasy romance inspired by Beauty and the Beast. We are following Briar, and I will say this story very much just like throws you in. So at the start of this, Briar is going in to this mansion that is cursed in order to kill the Fae King. So the Fae King in this is kind of like our Beast type character. He is in this castle that is surrounded by thorns, and all of the people of Briar's community want him dead. So because of some interesting circumstances, Briar is the one chosen to try to kill this Fae King. And when she gets there, she realized it's not going to be as easy as she thought, and it is their romance. And there are a lot of like little nods to Beauty and the Beast, as far as like the first time when she's captured, he invites her to dinner, and it was a really fun, very fast-paced story that I really enjoyed. So I don't hear a lot of people talking about this book, and if you're a fan of Beauty and the Beast, definitely think it is worth picking up. And next up is actually a Why Choose Beauty and the Beast reimagining. So we have Bonded by Thorns. This is the first book in a series, and this book does have a bit of a cliffhanger, so know that going in. But this story is following Rosalina, and she is like our Belle character, and the entire community thinks Rosalina's father is insane because Rosalina's father says that his wife, Rosalina's mother, was abducted by the Fae, and he's been searching to try to find a way into the Fae lands. Now, everyone in Rosalina's community thinks that, like I said, her father is just crazy, and then she ends up being proposed to by this guy she's been seeing on and off, who honestly treats her pretty terribly. But anyway, the day he proposes, Rosalina finds out that her father has gone missing. So she ends up looking for her father, ends up in the world of the Fae, and discovers that her father is being held hostage by these Fae princes. Now, all of the Fae princes control like a different season, and they also take the form of a beast at night that resembles that season. And the story goes from there. Now, I will say, I enjoyed this first book, but there's not a lot of spice between like our main character. It's most like the princes having fun time with each other, which is great. I just wasn't expecting that going in. So I believe the next book, Rosalina becomes more of like a player in the spice. But overall, I definitely plan on continuing with this series. I believe the second book is now available via audio. And next up is Entreat Me by Grace Draven. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about Radiance by Grace Draven, and I actually preferred Entreat Me, which I know is a very unpopular opinion. I just loved the characters in this book. Also, Grace Draven's writing is superb. Like, her writing is just so good, so easy to picture her world. And in this, it's like a haunted, dilapidated castle that's magical, and it's just written in such a way that you can like so clearly picture it. And I love her writing. But anyway, this is also a fantasy romance that's inspired by Beauty and the Beast. We're following this man who has been cursed, and his son has been cursed along with him. And they are forced to stay in this like almost sentient castle. And the father really doesn't believe there's any way of breaking the curse. That is until his son shows up with this very attractive girl, and the son is determined to try to break the curse. However, following the son and this new potential bride is the potential bride's older sister, and she does not want her sister mixed up in any curse that is going on. So it's actually a double romance because we have the father, the older sister, and then the son and the younger sister. And it was just such a fun time. Like I said, love the characters, love the spice, and just the overall feel of this book was so, just gave such Beauty and the Beast vibes. So highly, highly recommend. If you have not picked this up yet, you definitely need to. All right, so this next one is a little bit of a stretch. I mean, it's definitely inspired by Beauty and the Beast, but there's also like a lot more going on with it. So we have For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. This leans more fantasy than fantasy romance. However, I still loved this story. I still have to read the sequel. When I first read this, the audiobook for book 1 was available, but book 2 hadn't come out yet. So I have to do a reread of this really soon. But this also has one of the most like malevolent, creepy woods. And I love this story mostly just for that. But this story is following 2 sisters, and one is born for the throne, the other one is born for the wolf. So the sister that is born for the wolf has to go through this, like I said, very malevolent forest, and then she's given over to the wolf and supposedly never seen or heard from again. So we are following the perspective of that sister, but we're also following the sister that is for the throne and finding out all of like the political espionage and things that are going on the throne side of things. So part of the story, the one that's for the wolf, is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. We find the wolf, we find out that he's actually a human who has magical abilities. We find out why he's known as the wolf, but then we also are dealing with all of the politics with the other sister. So like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this book when I read it over 3 years ago at this point, and I'm very much looking forward to picking up the sequel. All right, so these next 2 books, personally, I didn't rate very high. However, I know they are very beloved, so I still wanted to include them in this video. So first up, we have A Ruin of Roses by K.F. Breene. I know a lot of you guys love this book, and I am so happy you guys enjoyed it. Personally, it didn't work for me. However, I think it's just the writing. The writing in this, the spicy scenes, they're just very like blunt and like, I don't want to say crude, but like they're just not written in a way that I personally enjoy, but I know a lot of people really love this. But this is following a girl that lives in this community of shifters, and they have been cursed where they can't feel their animals. So like in this world where you have shifters, you can like have discussions with your animals, but for some reason these people have been cursed and it's been cut off. However, there is a rose that can also help to break this curse, but it only grows in this like forbidden area. So our main character goes to this forbidden area, ends up getting captured, and is taken to the dragon prince or king. He's taken somewhere. She's taken to this castle, and all of these demons are like running around this castle, and there's a bit of the Beauty and the Beast element with the king that is cursed, or the prince that is cursed. It's been a while since I've read this. But there is humorous moments in this that I found unbelievably funny. Like I was laughing out loud. So there were parts of this book that I enjoyed. Overall, like I said, spice didn't work for me, and I really just didn't feel gripped by the story. But if you're looking for a spicy, kind of funny, shifter Beauty and the Beast story, look no further. And next up is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Now, I actually do like Naomi Novik's writing. I loved Spinning Silver. Uprooted, the audiobook narrator did not work for me. And also, I just felt like it needed a lot more build up to the romance. It didn't really feel like a fantasy romance to me. I believe it's actually adult fantasy. However, when I picked it up, I thought it was a fantasy romance. And while there is a romance, it's not very prominent at all. But anyway, if you're unfamiliar with Uprooted, we are following this girl, I think her name's Ignacia, and she lives in this community where there is someone known as the Dragon, and he's actually a wizard, and he protects the community. But what he asks in return is a girl to serve him for 10 years, and then they're never seen again. So our main character ends up being the girl that is picked to serve this wizard, and the story goes from there. So while it was very atmospheric, and like I said, I love Naomi Novik's writing, I just wanted so much more out of the romance that I didn't get. But overall, if you were looking for a very atmospheric story that has those Beauty and the Beast references, definitely check out Uprooted. And last up is the book that I have not read yet, but I've heard a lot of very mixed things, but I heard it is very, very spicy, and I definitely want to pick it up in April. It is Bend Her, and this is by Cassie Alexander. So I'm going to do something that I strive to not do on my channel, but I haven't read this book, so I'm going to read you a very small blurb. So it says that a cruel mage doomed to die at the hands of a woman he must protect at all cost, and Lisette, the sheltered princess of tears, who has been given into his care and who needs him to teach her magic so she can be free, no matter how much it hurts her. So that was what it said for the premise, but what really hooked me was the back of the book. So it says, "She was my death made flesh. She was beautiful. My beast was transfixed, and I wrestled to control it again, trying to rein in the things that were monstrous in my back. And I lumbered forward to breathe her in deep. In sleep she was perfect, soft, quiet, helpless, and my beast had a feeling she would taste good, no matter where he licked her." So, I don't know, sounds really spicy, sounds really good, so I'm very excited to pick this up, and like I said, I will hopefully be reading this in April. Alright guys, please let me know down in the comments below what is your favorite Beauty and the Beast reimagining, and also let me know if you guys would like me to do this as like a series, and I could do Rapunzel reimaginings and other fairy tales, so let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. And also I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Paladin protectors, Amanda, Erin, and Leslie. Thank you guys so much for supporting my channel, and also thank you guys just so much for watching. And I said this already, I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye!